I believe that a sense of abundance is existent within us all, and it's just knowing how to bring it to the forefront so we can attract like abundance into our lives, whether it is financial abundance, whether it's clients, whether it is love, whatever form of abundance. It can be anything.
Rita, I would like to welcome you on the Research Labs podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. And before we begin, right, I would like to, share how we actually met because it is a funny story. Well, yeah. I think we met in Dubai. We were in the Dubai Mall in the ice skating rink, and I literally crashed into someone, and you came to help that person out. It was a lady, I think, who was also there to have some fun, but I would say tragically we crashed, and she was actually behaving as if something really bad had happened. And I remember you telling me that it's not really that bad, just acting. So
You know what? In the moment, the ice is really hard, like a surface, because I've fallen. I've had many falls on the ice, and I've taken lessons and I've tried. I've pushed myself. Like when you take lessons and you're trying to do something new and you fall and you learn and stuff. So I have fallen many times on the ice, and it in the moment of like when you fall, if you do it on like a bone or something, it's like oh, like it's like a wrench and pain, but then it passes. So I was just telling her like it's all right, it will pass, and it just like it eases out. So yeah, it's the moment it happens is a lot. It feels a lot worse than it actually is. So yeah.
well, I would say I'm glad I crashed into her because that's how we got chatting, and here we are recording an episode, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite a funny story of like how we met, and then we ended up doing a podcast together. It's busy.
So from the way you went to UK and now you're in Mexico for a vacation, is that it?
I wouldn't say vacate. I mean, I have had a week of vacation since I got here because my cousin was getting married, and it was a whole thing. Like friends, family, all inclusive resort. It was incredible. But before that, and I was in Playa de Carmen for a month, and then I'm in Tulum now for a month as well. So I've been in Mexico for a total of like 2.5 months or so, and I've been trying to stabilize my work life balance in a hot climate in a new area where it's exciting and all of the things are going on. It's not that easy. And I've wobbled quite a few times, where my balance was more on one of the either one of the two, but I feel like I've gotten a hang of that now. It's been 2.5 months, and I feel like I'm getting my bearings around the area and around my schedule and my routine, everything. So yeah.
Could you also share, how you have been trying to build your business and what is it that you do?
Absolutely. So my business has been running for about almost 3 years now. So I've started it in the UK. I have had a business background for the past 10 years, so it's quite ingrained into me to always have a business going on. My business currently, I'm a manifestation coach, and my brand is Abundance on Demand. I believe that a sense of abundance is existent within us all, and it's just knowing how to bring it to the forefront so we can attract like abundance into our lives, whether it is financial abundance, whether it's clients, whether it is love, whatever form of abundance. It can be anything. When we vibrate at that frequency, we attract like frequency. So abundance is existing within us all, and I work with female online experts to help them manifest their dream life within 90 days or less. I've had people who've come to me burnt out, and because they were unfulfilled in a full-time job, and they were just they were working all hours of the day for not very much, but they wanted to go full time with their business. Within 1 month, it wasn't about the money at all. It was about the fear. It was about the paradigm of having to have a job. So within a month, she had quit her job and she went full time with her business, and she was able to make not only twice but three times the amount that she was making in her job in like 2 weeks. So it's not hard. It's about accessing those vibrational frequencies, and also working through old beliefs and decisions and things that we've made in the past that no longer will serve where we're going. So that's just one example of what the kind of work that I do.
Hmm. So when you share a story of your client, right, it kind of reminds me of a lot of my friends who are absolutely good at what they do, but they as you mentioned, they are very fearful of what will happen if they go solo, if they have to do everything on their own. So let's say when you are working with people, especially very skilled people who are good at what they do, I, what is it that you find that is usually holding them back?
It's usually a form of fear. And fear, when I say fear, it's an overarching emotion that that a lot of other emotions can stem from fear. So anxiety stems from fear. Fear of success can stem from fear. Like, what will I lose if I win? If I was to make a million and become a millionaire, would I lose my parents, for example, if the person's parents um, has grown up thinking money is bad, or people who have money are evil, etc. So the child becomes, oh shoot, like if I become a millionaire, if I make a lot of money, my parents might think I'm evil. So that's just one example, but that's just fear of success, fear of failure. What happens if I go solo and it doesn't work out? Or there's so many. It's just fear is the overarching thing that stops people from taking action, or take action, or to take too much action that doesn't allow for them to heal from within and attract instead of working too hard, if you will.
So, one thing which I have been very curious about over the years is that according to your personality types, people respond to different emotions differently. So, have you noticed, working with the people you work with, that certain personality types are easier to work with, or some of them need a lot more help than you anticipated? Could you share more about, how the type of personality differs when you are trying to work with them?
Hmm. I have had. I mean, before I work with anyone, especially one to one, it's a like it's not a long term. It's like a 3 to 4 month commitment. From my side as well as the client side. So whenever I'm about to enter in such a commitment, I make sure that we are in alignment. There was one time where I've had one client who wasn't in alignment at the beginning of my business, and I didn't really pick up on the signs, and that was she was making excuses and she was blaming external circumstances. And no matter how much work we did, there was nothing that she wasn't able to break through, because she was always looking for external circumstances to validate. Oh, okay, well that's because that person is the reason, or this situation is the reason. So when we do that, we give our power away to external circumstance, and we allow the thing that's happening, or the person that's saying something to us, dictate how we feel. So I feel like that is the one instance where I've experienced that is not in alignment with a client. But other than that, I do believe that it's as long as you believe that you create your own reality, you absolutely create, you are in control of how you feel, and you can manifest, you can bring to life whatever you put your mind to. I feel like that is the core things that I can support someone with. So as long as those things are in alignment, I can support anyone. I mean, depends, it doesn't really depend on personality types, and if I'm honest, I feel like it more depends on it's just what they, yeah, it's just how they view the world right now. Although that is something I help my clients with as well.
One thing, yeah, I think one thing which I'm noticing is that you are in the business of making other people successful. How did you even, come up with the idea to do this? Like, do you feel very passionate about helping people out?
Absolutely. Ever since I've always had a business, as I mentioned, and my second business was helping new and upcoming fashion designers get out there and get their voice out, and have a platform to be seen, heard, and market it and sell their stuff. So it's quite ingrained into me to help others. I just want to see others succeed, and I believe other success is my success because we are all one, and it's just incredible to help others feel good about themselves and feel good about money, and achieve what they've always wanted to achieve in their life. But yeah, it's something that's something I've been passionate about for a very long time, and I feel like every single business that I've had has had an aspect of that, um, and it's just been magnified, of course, ever since the coaching industry. Because for me, it's the sole purpose that I support my clients with.
Yeah. So I would like to confess something. I am not very educated on a lot of things. So I'm going to ask you very stupid questions. So please bear
There
with
are
me.
no stupid questions. You can ask me anything.
Yeah, yeah. So I like the idea that, it's almost like a therapy session, I would say, like a professional therapy session. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, so when you talk about fear, right, I would say I have noticed all of these things subconsciously when I'm interacting with people. But now when I'm talking to you, right, it's all just coming on the surface and I can relate that, oh, because I have had conversation with my friends and I'm always surprised that they are so smart and so talented. So why are they slagging off in this, let's say, so and so company? They're not very happy there. They are not as excited as they could be. And I don't know how to tell them that, I see you so much doing so much more, and this job or this company is kind of holding you back. And usually they always point to all the things that are not so right in their life and justify why they are, slagging off in that job. And so I agree to it maybe, but I always feel that there is something missing that they are not able to see. And now I'm talking to you, and that is exactly what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. And it's not so much, it's because they can't see the how, right? It's they think they want something, but they can't see the how they can get it. So they make the decision, no, it's easier to stay where they're at because it's better to it's almost better to be certain, right? It's almost better to be certain in their area of expertise, and that's what I know is going to work, to make me money. Or they can't take that risk into uncertainty, into the unknown, into what they what where they could fail, where they could. So in outside of the comfort zone, that's the word I was looking for. Outside of their comfort zone of what they already know is successful to them in their way of knowing. Yeah, so like for example, when I was thinking about traveling, I mean, I've been wanting to travel for like the past 10 years. It's why I started my first business. I wanted to have location independence, financial freedom, time freedom, all of the things. And but what stopped me, especially when I started my location independent business, my coaching business 3 years ago. So many excuses, like, is it safe for me to travel alone? Is it all of the excuses were coming up for me. But what I realized was that it was uncharted territory for me. It doesn't mean that it's not safe. It doesn't mean that it's that I could fail. It doesn't mean any of those excuses are real. It's just that it's something that I haven't done before on my own for such a long time. A one-way ticket. It's not like I don't have a return ticket somewhere, you know. And I've committed also to my house being rented out, so I can't even go home if I wanted to. It's something that I've committed to because I feel like the journey requires my commitment, that like expansion and growth that I've wanted to achieve in my personal and business life, that that sense of uh, sense of expansion. I've grown as a person, I've grown as a business, as a different, so that is what I wanted to achieve. And if I was to have a security blanket, and my house is free for me to go back, and all of the things are set for me to go back or whatever, I mean, to, about 3 weeks ago I was like, oh my god, I want to go home. And I could have easily booked a flight and gone home, but I had to stick it out, and I'm better now for doing that. So outside of the comfort zone is where a lot of people, you know, fear into of crossing into, but it's actually where the magic happens, because certainty is the product of the past. So if you continue to do the exact same thing, you'll not get a different result.
Hmm. Which brings me to this next question. For example, if let's say I am your client and we commit to each other for the next 3 months, what happens now?
So if we decide to actually work together from that point, okay. So we schedule our calls in, and we have a first deep dive, which is like 3 to 4 hours of diving deep into the desire, into the decision, into the what that looks like for you over the next 3 months. And then we do some subconscious work to support that new paradigm that you're about to embark on over the next 3 months. And you'll also have accountability through me. So we have a Voxer channel, or recently I've swapped to Instagram because it's just easier. And what else? A Slack platform. I'm not sure if you've heard of that platform, where I can give you the documents and the videos that I create for you, specifically for you, personalized. And moving forward, it would be 90 to an hour, like 2 hours session, to do the subconscious work, to come up with the strategies as well to support the subconscious work. So we align the belief, the thought, the emotion, and the action in have all of those things in alignment, so that you can manifest anything in your life. So yeah, the general idea.
Yeah, I can totally see, why people would need something like this. Yeah, yeah. Would you
Yeah.
would you be open to sharing, let's say, the age group of people who you usually work with?
I mean, I've worked with everyone from, I believe, 2025. She was at the time. Now she's like 3 years later. So 25 to 40. I mean, I can work with anyone as long as they are open to working on their beliefs. And it does take work. It's not easy to look at past trauma and past experiences that allow you to create the life that you have right now, because we are a product of our past. Like I said, we are a product of the past experiences that we've had. That's how we make decisions, and that's how we move forward in our lives. So if we want a different decision, and it's someone who's set in their ways, and they don't want to change their life, and they don't want to change, they're too scared to look at past experiences, and they want to just stick with it. It can't work. So it would have to be, as long as even if they're 50, 60 years old, but I've actually worked with someone who's 60. That's the oldest I've worked with. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah, and she's incredible now. She's doing amazing in her business. She's got a health and wellness business. So yeah.
Hmm. So you I think you mentioned that you exclusively work with women.
Mm, my marketing is directed at women, but I have had male clients in the past, especially at the beginning as well. I've worked with male clients, and they're doing really well as well. So again, it depends on how open people are, but my marketing is predominantly targeted to women, because I prefer to speak to a specific, you know, need, and women and men have a different way of perception when it comes to messaging and marketing, and all of the things. So from a business perspective, I speak to women. However, I can work with men too.
So which brings me to this question, right? Like, uh, I was raised by my mom and my dad, and both of them worked. So I've always seen them, go to work in the morning and come back in the evening. And but now when I talk to, let's say, younger women, younger girls, a lot of ideas which, let's say, our mom's generation had are very different than the ideas that we have when we're trying to build our lives and our careers. So do you think you can share what kind of goals uh, a lot of people you work with have, like what are they aspiring for? And and I'll tell you why I'm trying to ask that question. I also want to understand, do you see any particular reason why this kind of goals people might be having, especially young men and women these days? Do you see a trend, or so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There is absolutely a trend, especially in the online space, and there is a reason behind it as well. So the trend currently is £10,000 months in their, not even pounds, just 10K in their business, revenue or sales or profit. So it's something that everyone seems to be aiming for, and it for some reason it seems to be very very popular. You know, it's like once they hit that point, it's like, oh, everything's going to be amazing, and my business is finally going to be successful, and all of the things. But it feels that the reason that everyone's aiming for it is because of the online space. It's because some people share it, and it's like, ooh, that looks like success. Let me aim for that. You know. So it really, that's the trend that I'm seeing, quite majorly in the online space, maybe even the coaching space specifically. But yeah, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean, I mean, going back to what you said, the goals of our ancestors were completely different from the goals that we have today, and it's because of the environment, right? It's because of comparisonitis, and we look at so and so and think, oh, well, that looks like success, and we want that.
So when you say 10,000 pounds, for example, that is more like a business goal. Do you also work with people for their, let's say, personal goals or something which is not completely professional?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing is, most of my clients have had those big business goals and money goals, but it's never been the reason of why they wanted it. It was because they wanted to feel abundant, they wanted to feel happy, they wanted to travel, right? They wanted to have that location independence. And but again, it's the client that I've mentioned who didn't want to be in a job, she wanted to be in her business. That is a transition that I've helped her with, but none of those things had anything to do with external circumstance. They all had to do with internal feelings and emotions and beliefs and thoughts that perceptions that we've had about our lives, and what it was trying to fit into a box, right? This is what I've done so far. This is what, I need to go to a job. I need to do this. I need to do that. But like I said before, once we have that idea, oh, okay, I want that, but I have no idea how. I was like, oh, let me just stick to what I want, to what I know. Sorry, to what I know.
And apart from, let's say, professional goals, do you see a trend, as to how people are trying to manage their friendships and relationships? Because when you have a location dependent profession, it's very easy to build a community around you and have some friends who see on a frequent basis. You can also date someone who lives nearby. And how do you see, let's say, location independence affect those other aspects of life?
For me, I don't know. Maybe I'm different. Maybe because I don't know. I feel like for me, my location independent lifestyle has enriched my friendships even more. And I couldn't tell you specifically why. Maybe because it allowed me to grow as a person. I don't know, but because I've moved a lot as a kid, I wasn't able to hold on to my friendships. Like I don't have any friends from high school because I've moved. I didn't really have that. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why, but for me, it has enriched my personal life, my friendships, and I'm still in touch with people in the UK. I've got friends all over the world. It's incredible, right? Like us right here, right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how it worked, but for me, it's been a blessing. But I get what you're saying. It could affect friendships and relationships. However, for me, it's done the opposite, and maybe that can happen for other people too, because I feel like I feel like when you move, you grow as a person, you find exactly who you really are, and you attract the right tribe to you. So
So that's like the double-edged sword, right? Like only if you move, you get to see and be a better person. And if you move a lot, it's difficult to really build those deep relationships, you know. So do you have, let's say, clients who struggle with it? Or, and if they do, for example, then how do you help them out? Like what advice do you have for people who are trying to build better relationships?
I would, if someone was to, if someone was to tell me, how can I build better relationships, I would tell them to look at what who they want to attract into their lives, right? So if they like, let's take a second and talk about romantic relationships. Okay, so if we are talking about, I want to attract this kind of person, he does this, he does that, etc., etc. He, like, I have a whole list of things that I want to attract into my life, and I would ask the persons, like, okay, what of these traits do you carry, and how can you become like those things? You know, someone who is into motorbikes and hard rock and everything is not going to attract someone who's like, into like a Barbie, and it's the complete vibrational, like, misalignment. So how can you raise or match the vibration in which you're trying to attract into your life? Same with clients. Most of my clients come to me and they say, oh, I want to have the clients who are committed, who will do the things, and they will say yes, and they will make the decision, and they will do the strategy that we talk about, and actually commit to themselves. And I ask them, how have you been committing to yourself? How have you been sending out the vibration of like frequency? How can you embody more of that person into your life? Because yeah, it just, that's how vibration, that's how attraction works on any level, whether it's friendship, whether it's relationship. If you want, and if the fear comes into it as well, if we hold a frequency of fear, like, oh, I'm not good enough, so I'm not going to be able to like get this guy, or like help this client, or this client's not going to be seeing the value in me, or I'm not worthy. If we have that belief on any level, that is the vibration that we are emitting. So look at your beliefs as well as your external or your vibrational frequency.
Hmm. So, yeah. So I'm trying to summarize what you said. I think essentially you mean that, if you have a long list of uh, characteristics you would want in a person, step number one would be to look in the mirror and try to say, okay, what are the things I have? What do I have to offer?
Exactly. Yes. So like, I'm just gonna speak personally right now. So I'm currently dating, and I want someone who works on themselves, who is emotionally intelligent, who is, but all of those things that I want are actually a mirror of who I am today. I'm not looking outside of myself and I'm thinking, oh, I want this person up here. However, I'm not looking after my mental health. I'm not looking after my physical health. I can't be in that state and want to attract someone who has their life together, and is ambitious, and all of the things that I want are actually an embodiment of who I am today. Someone who is traveling but is happy to also settle down somewhere, is exploring their life, but also, it's where I'm at. That's the vibration in which I am attracting right now. And it seems to be working, it seems to be in alignment, because I'm not asking for something that is not in alignment. That's not got nothing to do with my where I'm at vibrationally right now.
That is so much on point. Do you mind if I ask you, how did you think, or yeah, think this through and understood that this is how it should be? Like, how did you conclude that this is how it should be?
It's law. It's a universal law. It's law of attraction, law of vibration. It is, it's how things work, and it's not so much me making it up or okay, this is how it works. I didn't make it up. I learned it and aligned myself to how it works. I basically just understood, and I've decided, okay, this is what I want, and that's who I need to be. That we all have that higher self within us, who's guiding us. Our higher self is that we ask for a manifestation, we ask for travel, we ask for whatever it is, and our higher self is in communication with the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it. So our higher self is in communication with life source, and they communicate. Okay, life source is guidance. Okay, the universe tells our higher self to tell us. It's like a messenger, it's our guidance, it's our intuition, right? So when I get a nudge, when I get an idea, an inspired idea to take action on a business, for example, take action on it. That's your higher self telling you this is the way to what you've asked for. You've asked for location independence, this is the business, try it. You've asked for this kind of person, but this belief is coming up for you. Work on this belief. There's always guidance, even challenges, even the roadblocks, the things that we see as annoying or traumatic or whatever it is. They are they're here to guide us towards what we've actually asked for.
Yeah,
I hope
yeah,
that that's
like
it doesn't feel like I've answered the question specifically. I've gone on my own direction.
no, I like it. Like, like the story as to how we met.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, yeah. Like, I did not plan that, I will crash into someone and, I'll invite the person who helps me on the podcast. It's kind of just happened, and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you like I think we've mentioned in our intro call, you must have been thinking, "Oh, I probably should get a podcaster, guest on," or like it was probably on your mind. And here I am in my industry, and we decided we ended up talking, and I said, "This is what I do." Like, oh, actually, I'm looking for it. So it's attraction. It's a law of attraction. You attract what you think about, what you believe is you know
Hmm. Yeah, so the one thing about the law of attraction, which I find very amusing, is if you if you are thinking, for example, in your case, that I want to be on a podcast, a lot of people might dismiss the idea that, okay, how does thinking like that make it happen, right? But over and over again, what I have found personally is that if you are open to the idea of coming on a podcast, only then, when I proposed that you should come, your head went, exactly, let's do it, right?
Yes, and there are so many levels. It's not just thinking. Law of attraction it's a misconception that a lot of people will think, oh well, so if I can think about something, I will just receive it. No, like like it depends where you're at in your life. Like so. For example, I've had to take the leap and take the risk and start the business and be in business for like 2 years before we even met. I've been on podcasts before because this is something I have worked towards. I've created the connections before we met. I've created the connections and I ended up on other people's podcasts. It's something I already do. So I have taken action, but I've also behind the scenes, I've been working on my beliefs and subconscious stuff that is, I do have a voice. I've had to, due to past trauma as a child, working through, I've had to work on my throat chakra, for the first, in fact, the first, I think was it the first podcast I've ever been on was my own. I was a co-host on my own podcast, and this guy approached me. He's actually local to me in Newcastle, and we did quite a few. We did like six months or maybe a year full of podcasts, of like weekly podcasts. And um, at the beginning, like it was incredible, like the difference in growth, because I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even put a word, two words, two sentences together without I had to have a script in front of me, so I had to work on my throat chakra, and I've had to do all of those things behind the scenes so that when we met, I didn't even know you had a podcast, I didn't even have to say anything. It just happened that easy. So when people say, oh, well, if you think of something and it will just happen, it doesn't quite work like that if you haven't done anything behind before that. But yeah.
It's like think about it and then magically work very hard and then miraculously it happens.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, well, now it feels like I do think of something and it just happens. But because I
But
have
there is a groundwork that you had to lay. Yeah.
exactly the foundational pieces are there.
So, when you are speaking to me, this one line from this movie is constantly coming in my mind, and it's the movie called The Truman Show. And in the movie, the hero, the actor Jim Carrey, was born on a film set, and the question they asked the director is, why doesn't he figure out the whole thing is fake, right? And the director goes, because we accept everything that is presented to us the way it is. And while talking to you, right, I think the point that you are trying to make with your business and also on this podcast is that the map that was presented to you when you were, let's say, a child, and even right now, that map has edit rights. You can edit it just like a Facebook post, and you don't have to accept everything the way it is. All you need to do is gather enough courage to question it, and then maybe get in touch with Rita and she can teach you how to edit it properly, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, what I do with my life, what I do with my clients' life. It's about reprogramming, because like you said, it's exactly how you said, and I love how you've just almost put those in put those things in words, articulated. That's the word I'm looking for. Articulated what you've just said, because it is incredible, because it literally is a map of your past and your future, unless you decide to change route, to change the way that you are doing things and the results that you're achieving. It's our subconscious system, our subconscious mind is basically a filing system of everything that has happened in the past and the perceptions that we've attached to every experience that we've had in the past. So, in order to change the future, to have a little bit more control, if you will, over what happens in the future, you must change the script, if you will. You must change the programming that you have in your filing system so you can have a different result.
One very good way I was taught by one of my, I would say, family members was to think about your childhood self as a person who is not very smart, because we're not all knowing and wise when we are young, and we are consuming all this information, and we are trying to make sense of the world with our child brain, right? So we conclude these events when we are a child, and we still believe those conclusions are true even when you are very old. Now, the question is, will you trust a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old with anything? And if the answer is no, why do you trust yourself when you are 14 years old?
Exactly, exactly. And that's exactly it. We have from the ages of 0 to 7, 7 to 14, we are literally sponges for anything that we see, that we hear, and that we see modeled in front of us, that we experience as well. So our parents and our grandparents, etc., their experiences are ingrained into our generational genes. It's because it's passed down through generations. Our parents have taken it from our grandparents, and we've taken it from our parents. We see them going to work every day, like you've mentioned. They come back and maybe they're stressed about work, or maybe they have an argument about money. Oh, and then you hear, oh, we don't have enough money. Oh, shit. Like, okay, better not ask for that toy. Better not, or if, you ask for the toy and they say, no, we don't have enough money, that becomes a part of your ingrained belief that we don't have enough money. So you now start a business or whatever in that belief is almost a foundational piece of how what you attract into your life and how you make decisions. And that's going back to decision, going back to going out of the comfort zone. That might be a playing factor in play. Oh well, I'm so lucky to have this salary. I'm so lucky to be making this money. I would be stupid to give it all up and risk it and start my own business, because we might have that belief. There's not enough money, quote unquote, and it's not true. It's not. It's because it's been passed down, and if you question it and you can reprogram your brain, you reprogram your mind to believe in a different thought. Money is abundant, money is energy, and that's just one example of many that I've got clients with.
So if someone is listening to this and they realize that we are making sense, I certainly hope so. And they want to, let's say, and they want to start, first of all, accepting that this, okay, I need to work on this. How do you suggest they can, let's say, at least get started before they get in touch with you?
First thing, I would advise anyone who's listening to this, who's thinking about starting to explore law of attraction or taking control of the results that they achieve in life, is to become aware of how they feel, because our emotions is the indication to what thoughts we have, and our thoughts are nothing but a product of our subconscious beliefs.
Hmm.
So if
I'm
you
trying
have
to
a
let it sink
thought,
in.
yeah.
When you said that, I thought about a compass, and emotion is the compass that you should be using to navigate. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm
Kind
saying
of,
that
no.
emotions, it goes, okay, so emotion, if we tune into our emotions right now, it's like, am I feeling at ease? Am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling like, what is it that I'm feeling? And like, tune in. That emotion is an indication as to what thoughts are playing in your mind. So, in the thoughts that you have playing in your mind are coming from a belief that you have, a subconscious belief that you have. That's how it works. And go back to the emotions. Yeah, and if we go back to the emotions, that's how we make decisions. How the majority of people, if unconscious, that's how we make decisions based on our emotions. Whereas our emotions are, if again, if unconscious of it, if it's not something that you do on a daily basis, you're not aware, and you just make decisions all the day long. You are making unconscious decisions based on past experiences, because that thing didn't work out. Like, how many businesses I've had that didn't work? If I was to stop starting a new business because of the past experiences that I've had, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be traveling the world. I wouldn't be helping countless like one-to-one clients and about to start, about to launch a group program. Because if I was to make a decision based on past experiences, it will keep me stuck in the comfort zone my whole life. So to take it back to your question and just to really hone in, the answer, if you are looking to explore law of attraction, explore how you can control the results that you have in your life and have a more aligned result to what you truly want, is to have the awareness of how you feel. Create awareness over around your emotions. And then once you do that, it's almost like it's easier to think, oh, well, okay, well, I feel anxious because I'm thinking this thing might happen in the future, whereas I need to bring myself back to the present, you know. Meditation is a great tool if that's something that you are maybe looking to, explore and bring into your life as a healthy habit. It's something that I still do whenever I feel uneasy, whenever I feel ungrounded. I just bring myself back to the present because nothing is happening in this present. Anxiety is either we're looking forward, something might happen, or we're looking back in a depression. It's like, oh well, this has happened. If you bring back yourself to the moment, this moment, and accept how things are as they are, and just allow, surrender to this moment. Because if we are if we are wishing something was different, if we are wishing, oh, wish this moment was different, we are going against resistance against the whole universe, so yeah, so just become aware of your emotions and center yourself through meditation. That's just one tool of many that you could probably start doing today to start.
Okay, that was very deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was, yeah. So I'm just wondering, is this how a regular session is with your clients,
No,
or
no.
it's deeper
First
than
of all,
that?
yeah, first of all, I say this all the time, I don't talk as much. Because
Okay.
it's not about me, it's about the client. We go into the subconscious. When we go into the subconscious, uh, into a subconscious state, into a meditative state where I take them into the subconscious, what we do is we pinpoint a traumatic event based on their emotions. We pinpoint their emotion, we become aware of the emotion, and we explore it together to take it back to a root cause event where we work on that event. And all I do is I hold space energetically. It's about safety for the client, so they must feel safe. They must feel that they can surrender into that state, so that they can get the result that they need. So I provide that holding space. I can't even do it for myself because I need someone else to because we're looking at traumatic events. We're looking at, like, things that it's hard to look at, and all I do is hold space and ask them the right questions so that I'm guiding them through the process of the reprogramming of the. So there is some guidance and there is some questions and things like that, but this is too much talking. I mean, after maybe we can talk about the strategy, or we can talk about things on a conscious level, but the subconscious work is a lot more different vibration.
Sounds to me like a lot of responsibility, actually.
Yeah.
You're doing very good. Yeah, you're doing a noble work, I would say.
Yeah, honestly, I love it. I absolutely love it, and it's been the most fulfilling things I've done in my life. So it's incredible to see someone's life just change after, like, even just one session. And just it's incredible because we're working on such a deep level. We're working on the root cause instead of the surface level stuff. And a lot of people will think, oh well, I need to change my life, so let me change my strategy, let me change the actions that I'm taking. But it's not lifelong change because they're working on surface level. But when we go deeper and work on the root cause, everything else changes. Like I said, your beliefs change, your thoughts then change, your emotions and your actions then change. So it's not the other way around.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
hope it makes sense to everyone listening as well.
No, yeah, I would say you are very articulate, actually.
Good, good,
Yeah, you make this whole process sound so easy to understand. Whereas
good.
I can totally, I was trying to imagining how a session would feel like, and I don't think it's as easy as you are, presenting right now.
I mean,
I think you are really good at what you do, actually.
I feel like I am. I do believe that I am.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very good at what I do, and I believe that every single client that comes through the door to me, if they do what I share with them, they do achieve what they set out to do. Every single client achieves every single goal, provided they do what I share with them. I've absolutely loved it. It was natural. It was good questions, and I feel like one of the things that I'm trying to do with my marketing is kind of go down a notch because I know so much about manifestation and all of the things, and a lot of people are not there, you know. So I need to like bring it down a bit. And I feel like your questions were quite good in terms of that to your audience, you know, to people who might not know about manifestations to begin with. So it's good to almost also remind myself how to talk like that because it's knowledge that I know, but I because I'm like I've already, you know, I've surpassed all of the basic things. I need to remind myself how to talk like that for my market, for my own marketing, my own reels and things like that. So it's good. How was that for you, as for me as a guest?
Yeah, I would say, I like I mentioned, right, you're very articulate, you know what you're doing. So once, I would say, I kind of figured it out very much in the beginning, that you have been doing this for a very long time. And I would say, listening to your answers, right, I was able to relate a lot with, let's say, what I see around me with my friends and even with my personal life. And so I was trying to like bring that when I was trying to ask you questions, because I don't have a script around here.
Yeah, and that was perfect. And that's the way I feel like
Yeah,
the best podcasts are created because it's more natural.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but and I really think, the one thing I would say which stands out is that you're working with a lot of women right now. And I think a lot of ideas you presented, like the idea that you should look at yourself first before us expecting things from somebody else or the world. Yeah, that was very much on point. That was like, you got that perfectly right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really want to promote your business now, so thank you so much.
you're very welcome. It was my absolute pleasure. And it honestly has been amazing. So thank you. And I'm definitely up for making another one.